And we're live. Welcome everybody here to the Lakers Lounge. I'm Anthony Irwin. This would normally be a lowdown if it were a weekday, but it's the weekend. It's Sunday. It's Sunday Fun Day. It's the beginning of free agency. We are going to be sitting here. I have a few kind of quick notes that I have, quick reports that I offered up on my Twitter page. That is at Anthony Irwin LA. I'm going to be doing a lot more reporting, obviously, this time of year for Lakers Daily. So make sure you guys are checking out Lakers Daily for all of my up-to-date information there. Today on the show, again, it's going to sound a little bit like the lowdown. I'm still going to be bringing the swish into it. This is a YouTube exclusive. I'm not streaming it over Twitter right now. I want people to follow and subscribe to the YouTube page here of the Lakers Lounge. So to those of you who are here on YouTube, welcome. Thank you very much. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, all of those good things. But yeah, today on the show, we're going to be talking about LeBron potentially taking a discount, why I believe it, but why there's reason I believe to be somewhat skeptical. I have an update on D'Angelo Russell's market, right? And his trade market and some of the timeline information there. I reported that the Lakers and Portland Trailblazers have been talking throughout the day about Jerami Grant. That those talks are continuing to this point. I wouldn't call anything, particularly imminent, but I would definitely say that, the two sides have been very active there. And then we got to talk about Klay Thompson and what is kind of going on there. So let's start though with, because I do kind of feel like the biggest story, the biggest development is LeBron James kind of about facing on a lot of what he has said publicly about his contract stuff, and potentially taking a discount, and some of the context behind it, some of the possibilities that it would open up, and why a very small part of me is just kind of wondering, is this kind of PR chess? So if the Lakers are able, according to various reports out there that I've also been able to kind of talk to people about, if the Lakers are able to bring in an impact free agent, LeBron James would be willing to take less. How much less? How far below? Like what number he would actually need to get to? All of that stuff is obviously up for debate or whatever, but it is certainly something that LeBron and his people have voiced to the Lakers, that for the right type of talent, we're willing to work with you so that we can give you a couple options here. And that would, Klay Thompson would qualify there. Jonas Valanciunas was also mentioned in a previous report, and players like that, veteran types of players. Okay, Shams Charania I guess the NBA at large is announcing that the salary cap is at 140 million, 140.6 million bucks. Luxury tax is at 170 million, almost 171 million. That is slightly under the prior cap estimation. So that means that all of the math just got a little bit more tricky. The first apron now sits at 178 million bucks, and the second apron now sits at just under 190 million bucks. So yeah, that's so again, that complicates everybody's math. You want the cap to bump up, and it did not. So that means, I just have a buddy, Brian Toporek, who tweeted out, that sound you hear is every cap nerd scrambling to redo all of their math. The whole league right now, I would imagine, is kind of scrambling right now to figure out what's going on there. But back to the LeBron, back to the discount. Most of me believes it. I really do. I do really believe that LeBron James is interested in taking a discount. He really wants to compete. That is all that we heard this last week as the Lakers were heading into the draft. And as much as easy as it would be to basically just kind of ride off into that Southern California sunset, that is not what LeBron is interested in doing. He's still playing basketball at a very high level. Anthony Davis is also playing basketball at a very high level. And the two of them feel like, given what they are still capable of on a basketball court, that they want a real chance at competing for a championship. That starts with putting together a formidable roster. So with LeBron specifically here, AD can't do this because he's already signed to his contract. But LeBron, as was expected, opted out of his previous. He opted out of the player option, and now he can re-sign. And originally, I thought that it was just going to be a pretty simple negotiation that involved what's the most you can give me? Cool, that's what I'm expecting, and the Lakers would just sign the dotted line. Now it appears that he is going to sit tight and see what the Lakers are able to do and see what number he would have to go down to in order to help make whatever it is that the Lakers are trying to do happen. So I think the optimistic side of me would say, yeah, that sounds right. That sounds, very logical for both sides. LeBron James is already a billionaire. It's kind of hard to ask anybody to not take tens of millions of dollars potentially. But you know what? If that's what he's interested in doing in order to give the Lakers the best chance at competing, then I'm not going to tell him not to. The somewhat skeptical side of me, though, is sitting here saying, could this be chess by LeBron? Could this basically be him putting all of the pressure on Rob Pelinka to figure something out? And then if it doesn't work out, he gets his max anyway. It's a win-win. So either he looks great to the fans, and then if the Lakers aren't able to figure anything out, Rob gets the majority of the blame there, and LeBron gets his max contract anyway. And look, given how some of the PR battles have gone between LeBron James and Rob Pelinka in the past, I could see him kind of looking for a dub here. I don't think this is actually what's going on, but you know me, I'm always going to ask questions, and it's been something I've been asking about. And the vast majority of people who I've talked to have said they believe that this is real. Now it was, I've heard that it was kind of more predicated on D'Lo opting out and the Lakers having more cap space so that you could go out and get a real bona fide stud for a certain amount of money. But even still, let's say the Lakers are able to, and we'll talk about D'Angelo Russell here in a second. If they're able to offload D'Angelo Russell and they have a path to getting below the first apron so that they could use the full non-taxpayer mid-level exception, that that's like a $16-ish million player, or in that range, in the teens, and those guys, especially if it's a player who would be taking a discount as well, those guys can make an impact on the Lakers' chances at competing. And I think for that type of a player, LeBron James taking a discount makes a whole bunch of sense. So we'll see what the Lakers are able to do, and we'll see if the Lakers are able to make good on this potential option in that road ahead, and we'll see what that looks like. But it all, however, I believe, starts with D'Angelo Russell's trade market. So first and foremost, I had been hearing the past week or so that internally there was momentum gaining and confidence gaining in D'Angelo Russell potentially taking his player option and accepting his player option, opting in. I wrote about that for Lakers Daily. I explained why the market looked the way that it did in general, and also specifically for D'Angelo Russell. And I'm told that over the course of the week, kind of quietly, as they were gaining momentum to potentially have D'Angelo Russell opt in, the Lakers very quietly kind of started asking around, hey, like if D'Lo opts in, he's an expiring contract. Like, are you interested? And they didn't want to jinx it. They didn't want to, because the Lakers, it was very clear in the conversations that I was having, the Lakers wanted D'Angelo Russell to opt in because it gave them more options on the trade market. And it makes sense, right? It makes a whole bunch of sense. So then D'Angelo Russell opts in, and breaking news according to Woj, restricted free agent Max Christie intends to sign a 4-year, $32 million deal. The deal includes a player option. I did not know about this. I'm not going to pretend to know about that one. That's a lot of money for a guy who didn't play last year. It makes sense. You lock him up and you have him. Look, I'm really, first and foremost, I'm happy that Max Christie is going to be back with the Lakers next year. That is all that frankly matters right now. I would say that seems a little steep at first reading, but Max is, I think, a really exciting young player, and I think he could very easily live up to that contract. And then, in a few years, when the TV deal kicks in, that money will basically be pennies. So I get it. It's a good contract for all sides included. Now back to D'Angelo Russell. So where did I leave off? D'Angelo Russell was, his reputation around the league, just, I'm going to be frank, it just isn't great. He's a very talented player. He obviously, I think, helps you win in the regular season, but there are real questions about him in the postseason that he has not answered over the course of his career. And if and on top of that, there are questions about his the impact he has on locker rooms. Not to say that he's a bad guy or he's just outright not liked throughout the league. I wouldn't go that far at all. I think with the right people, I think he is very capable. Like, people can get along with him, but then he does do some things sometimes that rubs people the wrong way. And so between the on-court questions and the playoff questions and some of those chemistry questions, the market for D'Angelo Russell wasn't good. The market for anybody hasn't been good. Most of these free agents, Malik Monk signed a 4-year, $78 million contract. Malik Monk getting less than $20 million a year really surprised a lot of people. And it wouldn't surprise me if D'Angelo Russell's camp was like, hey man, that's barely more than you're opting into. Let's just take that money, hit the market again next year, probably going to get traded, and we'll see if we can make the best out of that situation. And that appears to be the direction that all of this seems to be heading. So D'Angelo Russell, now the Lakers, again, quietly started talking to teams. Hey, hey, you interested? Please say you're interested. And then when he finally opted in, really started calling teams aggressively. What's it going to take? What are you interested in? What can we get back for him? If it is a straight salary dump, which I would hope is not likely, what would that look like? How much would we need to send to like Detroit so that Detroit takes him into their cap space and the Lakers can get more help to get under the non-taxpayer, the first apron and have access to their full exception. On top of the help that LeBron gets them, it also makes it so that LeBron doesn't have to help him as much. And the pay cut goes from, I've heard anywhere of like close to like $20 million a year. That really would surprise me. But you know what? LeBron is in that range where his decisions are pretty tough to predict right up until the moment. But anyway, so D'Angelo Russell, the Lakers been very active on the trade market, trying to find a trade partner for him. There are some whispers out there that the Lakers feel like there is at least one actionable trade for D'Angelo Russell that they just kind of have stored in the background. And then they are trying to see what else the market could look like. And, depending on how things go with Klay Thompson, who we'll talk here about in a little bit, perhaps the salary dumping him and getting your full taxpayer mid-level or whatever, and getting yourself some additional spending power does make some sense to dump D'Angelo Russell. But I at this point, if D'Angelo Russell is a Laker at the beginning of the year, that would signal a pretty big miss by Rob Pelinka. He's missed before, and he has failed to make the big move in past off seasons. But the hope and the intent from the Lakers is to trade DeAngelo Russell by the time the season starts, and the sooner the better, so that it gives them more options in free agency. The next name here that has been coming up over the course of at least today, and certainly probably over the last few days, is Jerami Grant. The Lakers have liked Grant's game, don't love his contract. That contract is insane. I know that there are ways to spin it, and certainly as you get closer to the new TV deal money, that contract may start to look a little bit better. But $30 million a year for Jerami Grant, that it is just not a very popular deal. And I think one potential holdup that I've heard between the two sides here is that the Lakers think that is the kind of deal that makes it so that they don't have to include the second first round pick. I have been talking about on these channels a lot about how the Lakers don't want to include both of their first round picks in trades this offseason. They already took Dalton Connect with one of their first rounders, that the three first rounders that they could have used in trades this year. They already took Dalton Connect with one. Which makes that trade asset a little bit less valuable. It does help that he was kind of seen as the steal of the draft. And, word out there is that Connect was very popular in Portland with their draft scouting team. So we'll see if maybe the Lakers open up to including Connect, if it means holding on to one of their future first rounders. But as it stands right now, the two sides have been talking. And, the types of players that I've heard would likely be involved are like Rui Hachimura, Gabe Vincent, and then, draft capital from there. JHS is kind of difficult because obviously Portland has a bunch of young guards, and bringing in another young guard just doesn't make a whole bunch of sense for them. So I don't think they have much interest in JHS. I also don't know how much interest the Lakers have in trading JHS, because it would be selling at the absolute lowest moment for his value. So we'll see what kind of goes on there. But like I said earlier, I don't think that this trade is imminent. I think there are other dominoes that have to kind of fall first. But it could be Rui and Vincent and that draft capital. It could be DAngelo Russell and Vincent and that draft capital. But the concern there is Portland, I don't think is all that interested in Gabe Vincent's extra year on his deal and his injury concerns. And then, like I said, the draft capital has been a bit of a snag for both of the sides there. So we'll see if those conversations kind of move forward and progress in the next 24, 48 hours or so. But I do think that Grant would be a real upgrade on the wing. And it's something that I've said that the Lakers need to focus on is upgrading on the wing, getting a two-way impact player. Grant shot almost 40% from 3-point range this year. He's tall, he's long, he's athletic. He has been working on as being at least a secondary creator too. And I think that would kind of help the Lakers in some of the creative deficiencies that I think that they have currently on the perimeter. And we'll see what that looks like. But I think Grant is a name to really keep an eye on here moving forward. All right, finally, let's talk really quickly about Klay Thompson. So Thompson and Golden State, it would appear that those bridges are burned, pissed on, pooped on, however badly you can treat a bridge. That's essentially how it feels like between the Golden State Warriors and Klay Thompson. Some of the concerns or some of the kind of grudges that he holds against them, right, is not starting last year and Golden State not winning while they weren't starting him. Obviously, he feels disrespected financially by some of the offers that Golden State, I guess, have presented to him. So, you have that going on. Reports come out from Shams and from various outlets basically saying that that relationship is done. Klay Thompson is ready to move forward. It is now considered more likely than not that Klay Thompson is just outright gone. So the Lakers, I started asking around because Klay Thompson, I would think, is the type of player LeBron would be interested in taking a pay cut for. Was able to confirm that. And then I was asking around the Lakers, hey, how confident are you that you can maybe swoop in here and pick up an LA kid, right? He grew up in LA. His dad, Michael Thompson, is the color commentator for I almost said KCAL 9, but yeah, 710 ESPN for their games. And yesterday I sensed some, cautious optimism where it was like, maybe, we feel at the very least, we know we're going to get in the room. We'll have the opportunity to pitch him on this idea. And we'll get a sense of what that partnership could potentially look like. And, I think that was, I'm not going to go so far as to say misplaced, but the Lakers are always very optimistic on these things, right? Like the Lakers are always going to think that they have a real shot because they're the Lakers. Like, who would have said that the Lakers had a shot coming off of however many terrible seasons at LeBron James? Then they got LeBron James. So I think the Lakers are always going to have a better shot than most teams, kind of regardless of the situation. And kind of fast forward to today. And the sense is that, a lot of that cautious optimism has kind of waned. The Lakers, as it stands right now, feel like the likeliest outcome is that Klay Thompson goes to Dallas, and a potential sign and trade could be in the works there that allows Klay Thompson to get paid better than any of the exceptions that the Lakers could make there. And we'll see what that would look like. If the Lakers were able to dip below that first apron, potentially a sign and trade could be in the works there, where somebody like Rui goes to Golden State for Klay Thompson. But again, work needs to be done to at least, even give you that opportunity. And as it stands right now, it would be somewhat surprising if Klay Thompson were to become a Laker, but I don't think this is some slam dunk, definitely done deal right now. I do think that this story is probably going to develop. And here we sit, 45 minutes before free agency officially is underway. And I think this story has the possibility, I would say, for a couple twists and turns. And by the way, it's like I always say, anytime I have information, that is as of the moment that I offer up that information. All of these tweets, right? And I try to phrase them in a way that explains that all of these situations are evolving. None of this, I haven't reported that anything is done on any of these fronts, but I do try to keep you guys posted as these things do develop. And as it pertains to Klay Thompson, as these things have developed over the last 24 hours or so, the Lakers went from cautiously optimistic to we'll see, it went from we'll see to we'll see, but I agree. We will see. All right. I have to run. And I do plan on hopping back into the lounge. The show later tonight won't be a YouTube exclusive. Later tonight, I will be I prefer that you guys continue to subscribe to the show because I think I like the work that I do, and I think that I bring on enough guests that make the show worthwhile to everybody. But the plan as of right now is at 7:00 Pacific tonight. I am going to be bringing on Yoseli Goslin he has his own YouTube page. He does incredible cap work, and he's a super, super bright guy who presents these numbers in a clear and still entertaining way. So the plan right now is to talk to him later tonight to kind of update you on what the prior couple hours leading up to that show were like at the onset of free agency, and then also to prep you guys for what free agency might look like moving forward. So until then, and until the next time you guys hear from me, I'm Anthony Irwin saying have a great rest of your day, make somebody else's, and I will talk to you in a few hours. Have a good one, everybody.